Good.
Doing okay.
Great.
So talk to me, let's start off with a little bit of recap, because I think that the 3612-3 class that I worked through yesterday was, it's really important, guys. As we know, if you don't, first of all, it takes a lot of energy and effort and time to get the leads, to go into the marketplace and to extract opportunity out of it, right? Then if we don't know how to convert the lead to an appointment or convert the appointment ultimately to a closing, there is really no point in step one. So does anyone want to share anything that kind of caught their attention yesterday, or something they heard or kind of internalized from the session yesterday that they'd like to share with everybody?
Yeah, they gave the analogy of like not converting your leads to running your water in the bathtub without putting the drain, like it's just letting everybody go down through the drain, because otherwise it's not going to materialize into anything.
Right. And another, there's kind of almost two steps of that. One is not being able to convert the lead, and secondly is not following up with the lead. So yeah. It's not even like, you got to figure out not only how to convert the lead, but then you got to follow up with the lead. And oftentimes you got to follow up with the lead a lot of times in a very systematic, structured way, so that you can ultimately sit at the closing table with them, right? Which we're going to talk a lot about today. That's going to be one of the main concepts of our morning huddle today, is going to be the 36 touch. Okay, so anyone else want to share anything? All right, let's do a little housekeeping from 1:15 to 3:15 today. Let me make sure Kimberly hears this. From 1:15 to 3:15 today, we are going to do a 2-hour session in this room, okay? I got a lot of things I want to go over with you guys. I want to do a little recapping from 2020. I want to kind of share my vision for 2021 with you, okay? Not only in terms of our financial goals and our numbers and our metrics and all that, or I guess they're both. They're my goals for you and my goals for myself, right? I want to go through some of those concepts together. And I also want to really help you understand kind of how we're going to put it all together, okay? What the basic flow is. So like, for example, Corey put together that visual yesterday, thank you, which kind of walks you through the idea of, if I really want to know from a financial perspective, why am I doing this business, right? Why am I willing to wake up and put on dress clothes and do what I got to do every day and deal with all the highs and lows of this business? I'm doing it because it's a vehicle to finance my life, right? Among all the other things, of course, right? And then we follow that flow chart and we say, okay, well, now we need to know the plan. Now we need to know what we're doing this month and this quarter and this week and today. And then we need to know, well, what does success look like? Then we need to we need to monitor our success. We need to make adjustments frequently, right? And then ultimately we will build the quality of life and the life by design that we were initially seeking. Make sense? Okay, so the next thing that we're gonna do is we're really going to talk through what do we need to put together in the foundational pieces, and what do we need to, what systems do we need to put in place to increase our chances of converting all the business and essentially all the opportunities that we go and create. Make sense? All right, perfect. One of the systems that by the way, I know surveys are not like, all leaders are like, ooh, let's do a survey. Hey, let's do another survey. Like, I know people don't want to fill out surveys. I totally get it, okay? But if I don't know what specifically is on your mind, it's hard for me to coach you to it, okay? So I'm gonna make one more polite request. If you have not done the survey, will you please take 5 minutes to do the survey, okay? It really helps me and you narrow down what is the personal focus and professional focus of the year, and how many homes do you want to sell, so I can remind you of that if by chance you're off pace in the coming weeks and months and quarters. Okay, makes sense. Now, I also like to piggyback on the vision stuff is, as I mentioned to you, I'm interviewing candidates right now for an assistant coach, or I don't know if I want to call it an assistant coach or not, but basically a partner coach, if you will, that will start to handle or help handle a lot of the tasks that we've got coming. So I kind of, again, want to paint a picture for what I see this becoming. Also want to go into a little bit more detail on the lead program or the appointment program that we're in development on. So please, from 1:15 to 3:15, be here in this room. Okay. I can't do it without you. This is all for you guys and for us. Okay. So just a reminder, please fill out the survey. If it goes without saying, do your numbers, report your numbers, and then be here from 1:15 to 3:15 today. We are also doing a launch mastermind, and that is going to be tomorrow from 11 to 11:30. Okay, 11 to 11:30 tomorrow. Any questions on any of that?
Is there a particular topic for the launch mastermind tomorrow, or what, like?
Great question. I want to, what do you guys want to hear about? Because if I can be completely candid, I'm not getting quite as much participation as I would like and would have expected. So what is the topic that like you guys just would flat out not miss? I'll teach on whatever you guys find to be most valuable right now.
Hey, Bill.
Hey, good morning.
Like how you were talking about with the leads, once you get them, like how to convert them to appointments, or just how to, outside of smart plans, like just a good plan to make sure that you keep in contact with those people once you get the initial contact, I guess.
Okay, so that's going to be the topic of today. Okay. So once we're done with today, if we want to go into a lot more detail tomorrow, we could certainly do that. But I'm going to cover a lot of that right now. So glad you're here.
I have a topic I'd like you to talk about.
Yeah.
So when I had the buyer with Dream, and I did like 20,000 contracts, there were a lot of contracts that I had to draw, or situations that came up within the process of, from start to finish, contract to closing. Yep. Like there was the escalation clause, which I'd never heard of before. There was where we withdrew our offer, so I had to do that contract. And then the, I think it's called the redistribution of the funds that were in the earnest money, basically.
Yeah.
So just kind of like things that could potentially be like little pop-up problems and how to solve them, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. If you want to do me a giant favor and just jot down some of the ones that you encountered, then, I mean, I could teach a class that would last 6 months on problems that could pop up, right? So if there's potential, or if there's specific ones that you want to discuss, like a couple that you just named, I'd be more than happy to rattle off all that stuff. No problem. Sound good? Did I lose you?
I think her screen froze, but
okay.
I think she's in agreement.
Good. Okay, tune in at 11 o'clock tomorrow. Kimberly, the meeting is not in the office. It's going to be right here in Zoom. Okay. I will be back to the office soon. My wife is negative. I'm still waiting on my kids. Okay. So little by little, the results are coming in. Okay. I want to, one other thing with today's session. Sorry, I'm a little all over the place today. I got a whole packet of information that walks you through even more detail than what, I know you guys can't see this, but it's for visual stuff. Okay. Trust me, it's a big packet. See, that walks you through a plan for 2021 and some great tools to use in 2021. So this is going to be a lot of the content on today's session. 1:15, 3:15. Got it? Okay, today's program is going to be about touch campaigns. So we haven't actually spent a ton of time talking about touch campaigns specifically in this group, but I want to make sure you guys understand kind of where this even comes from. So I'm going to share my screen really quickly with you. And then I'm going to walk you through kind of all right, can you see this?
Yep.
Okay, so this is the basic framework. I want to walk you through this model, then we'll talk about the touches, okay? So prospecting, as we learned from 3612.3, and as you know from general business concepts, is nothing happens unless you are generating leads, okay? So at the top, we see lead generation here. The function of lead generation is to grow the database, and the function of communicating with your database is to determine who deserves to be in your pipeline. Everyone follow that part?
Mm-hmm.
So your prospecting and marketing is designed to capture what Keller Williams would call leads. I know oftentimes we use these words interchangeably. According to their definition, a lead is a person that you have a one-way communication with. Okay, there hasn't been a two-way engagement yet. Basically, you're providing offers and it's one way, and they are essentially just receiving the offer, right? So oftentimes these are like internet leads and that kind of thing, because if you get on the telephone with somebody, they jump almost immediately to a contact. Does that make sense? Okay, there's two different touch programs that KW talks a lot about. One is called 19 to Connect, okay? 19 to Connect is the system, and I'm gonna go through the details, of course. That is what you do for leads. Leads are the people that you have the right to at least have a one-way communication with. The whole purpose of a 19 to Connect program is to connect them so that they're a contact. Contacts are people that you've established a two-way communication with, okay? And the touches are a bit more interactive, and the touches are a bit more value-based than they would have been with the 19 to Connect, okay? So again, you're going from prospecting to marketing to leads to making the leads a contact. That's the top of the funnel, the sales funnel, if you will, okay? Then what we're doing is we're trying to communicate. Oh, by the way, once they're contacts, they don't get the 19 to Connect anymore. They get the 36 to Convert, okay? And I'll go through the details of what that is here in one moment, okay? Then the goal of the 36 to Convert is to kind of have the best of the database, or the most urgent needs in the database, to reveal themselves, right? That's what I would call the pipeline. That's where the pipeline is starting to be formed, okay? And then you're qualifying and nurturing those people until it's time for an appointment, step 5. Then you turn them into active, then you turn them into under contract, and then you turn them to close. Does anybody recognize these phrases here? Prospecting, marketing, leads, contacts, cultivate, appointment, active, under contract, close. Has anyone ever seen that before? Where have you seen that?
Command.
Wonderful. Great answer. Great answer. Okay, does everyone follow what I just put together, or what Heather just put together for us? Is that command is a tool to manage this entire model. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, let's X out of that for a second, and I'm going to show you, actually, let me come back to that in one moment. Okay, here is a document that is called, give me one second. Showing up on my page. Give me one second, guys. Just one quick second. I'm used to 3 screens, and I'm down to 1 at the moment, which it's very tough for me. Okay. I will post this here in just a second, just so we can not waste a whole lot of time. It's a document that looks like this. Has anyone ever seen this where it says 36 to convert and 19 to connect. Okay, I will post this as a PDF in the group very shortly, okay? Let's start with 36 to convert, okay? The 36 touches are as follows. Now, listen, nobody's gonna like grade your 36 touch, okay? So if you tweak this a tiny bit, that's totally fine with me and would be fine with Gary Keller. What we've determined through our research is that 36 is the magic number, okay? So you know how I've been saying forever that if you have 16 people that you quote properly communicate with each year, it should indicate that, or it should reveal one closing per year, right? So if you want 10 closings, you need 160 people that you are quote properly communicating with. This is what I mean by properly communicating with. Make sense? Okay, so here are the 36 touches. Here's the breakdown: 4 telephone calls, 26 bi-weekly email offerings with some type of value. We'll go into some examples in a moment. So 26 bi-weekly emails, 2 touches that are parties or events or get-togethers or something like that. I know we'll deal with COVID in a moment. Okay. And 4 touches that are promotional in nature, like direct mail, magnet, calendar, market report, something of that nature. Generally, those are going to be snail mail rather than email. Okay. Make sense? Everyone follow me?
Yep.
All right. 4 telephone, 26 bi-weekly emails, 2 events, and 4 promotional pieces. Okay. Now, let's go to 19 to connect really fast. 4 calls, 12 monthly touches that are typically like a market report or a video or an email newsletter, 2 promotional direct mail pieces, could be like a calendar, again, a magnet, a market report, something like that, and 1 client event or annual party, movie screening, get together of some nature. Okay. They don't need quite as much touch because you don't really have a relationship with them. You're just kind of soliciting them at this point, right? Because they're a lead and not a contact.
What was after 4, the 4 calls?
4 calls, 12 monthly email newsletters.
Okay.
Instead of 26, basically. 2 promotional direct mail pieces rather than 4, and 1 get together rather than 2. Okay. Now, let's talk a little bit about what a business owner would do when now faced with this type of project. Okay. So let me show you one thing that I did a while back. Okay, so this is an example of intentionality. Okay, so we created a calendar. We said, well, what dates are we doing what? When are we sending out video testimonials? When are we sending out Chartmasters videos? When are we sending birthday cards? When are we sending a letter from the heart, or like an update on what's going on in the business, right? So like, for example, when I hired an assistant, or when Pam came on board, or when something really cool happened in the business, right? We shared it with our people, right? We're growing, things are great, right? We've got lots of help, we've got lots of people to help, right? We're helping people in the community. We're making an impact. When we wrote a check to a charity, we told the world about it. You see what I'm saying? So look, I know that you'd be like, well, when am I going to find time to do this? You're going to have to make time to do this. Okay. There's really no other way. This is intentionality. Okay. And this was in front of my face all year long. Okay. And then there was a calendar reminder for both myself and for my assistant a week or 2 before these dates to say, hey, you were supposed to do a Father's Day something or another in 2 weeks. Get your act together, right? Don't tell me it's time to do a Father's Day card on the day of Father's Day, okay? We need to be preparing for this, and there needs to be time on my calendar and her calendar to make sure that it gets done, and I've proofed it, and I like the way that it looks, and that it's sent out to the proper group at the proper time, Make sense? So I'm going to request of you guys, there should be some form of a marketing calendar in your business, right? Start small, right? If you need my help on it, obviously I'm happy to help. You know, if you notice here, we sent out a Chartmasters monthly report on the 28th of every day, with a couple of exceptions. That was probably Thanksgiving or something. And I don't know why that was one day early. It's probably a weekend or something, right? But we knew exactly when we were doing it. So what did I do? I found a unique slide, not 80 pages, one unique slide, okay? And I did a little video that was probably a minute to a minute and a half describing the slide and sent it out to the database.
Oh, I like that.
Something like that. You see what I'm saying? So what are some of the other touches that you could do if you're going to commit to 26 touches? What would that look like, right? How about the neighborhood nurture? That could knock 12 of them right there, right? So that helps them understand what's going on in the micro market of their particular neighborhood, right? What about touches about, remember, we're supposed to be the economist of choice for our people. So what does an economist talk about? An economist might talk about, you remember we talked yesterday at team meeting about the federal funds rate and what the relationship is between the federal funds rate and mortgage interest rates? Guys, there was a lot of people on that call that had no idea what we were talking about, okay? But if realtors don't even know what the hell's going on, the public has no freaking clue, okay? So they need an education. Okay, they hear, oh, the federal funds rate, or they don't even use the word federal funds rate, they just use rate, right? The federal funds rate, by the way, is the overnight interest rate that banks charge each other to borrow money from one another. That is not necessary, it is not tied to mortgage interest rates. Actually, more often than not, it goes in the opposite direction, right? So the economist of choice, that's something that the economist of choice ought to understand, right? So how are you becoming the economist of choice, right? Would it help people to know how the days on the market is adjusting? Is it going up? Is it going down? A slide I used to use a lot was the difference in what happens if you price the home correctly, meaning you did not need a price reduction before the home went under contract, versus if you did need to take a price reduction before it went under contract, right? Oftentimes the slides back during the heyday were, you know, 91% or 92% is what you could get if you had to reduce the price, and you'd be getting over 99% oftentimes. Now it's pretty much right at 100 if you price it right to begin with. So you're talking to a $400,000, $500,000 homeowner. We're not talking about little money. We could be talking about $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 in net difference. Does that make sense? So they're counting on us to deliver this information, because people make sophisticated choices when they have lots of good information. If you're not sharing the good information, your people could be missing opportunities, right? Maybe you do a quick illustration about what refinancing is all about. How for no money and a simple phone call to somebody that you can connect them with could save them $200, $300 a month. My neighbor across the street bought his home last August. So he's owned his home for, what would that be, like 15, 16 months? He has already refinanced 3 times.
Wow.
Okay.
3 times?
3 times. Now he's a strange cat, okay? But he's saving money every time.
But then he's probably got closing costs on that, you know,
all
like
factored in.
Huh.
He intends to stay in the home for a while. Well, that's the wrong phrase. It's not whether you stay in the home for a while, it's whether you keep the mortgage for a while. But every single time he's doing it, he's saving money.
Okay.
Okay. He's gone from a 4.5 rate to like a 2.5 rate. Okay. That's how much money is at stake. If you guys know somebody that owns a house and they have no intention of selling it, they need to speak with a lender. There's almost no way they can't save money right now. Okay. Is that a holiday touch you could make? Is that a story you could share?
Yeah.
Hey, I know that, I know you just bought your home 2 years ago, but I just had to ask. I have another client, or I have a friend in the office who has a client. I mean, you could say it however you want. that just refinanced and saved $250 a month. I just had to know, when was the last time you refinanced? Have you thought about that? Right? For no fee, no obligation, have a chat with a lender and see if that could be an option for you. If you save them a couple $100s a month, do you think they're going to like you? You think they'll feel like they owe you a referral or something? Would that be nice to get a warm call that says, hey, Corey, come list me?
Yeah.
That'd be pretty cool, right?
Would you suggest, so like I'm working on like a flyer that I'm going to provide, excuse me, to my neighborhood. And I've heard the idea of not giving away everything, all of the information. You want to hold some information of value. But, I'm wondering, like, that kind of, mentioning a refinance, I probably don't want to put that information on the flyer. But maybe there's an argument that it's okay, because it could be, because coming from contribution, I don't necessarily, I want to appear as if I'm offering this information and I can talk about it in more detail. So, with them in a conversation. So maybe it's, here's a list of the homes that have sold in the neighborhood, what the list price was, what the final sales price was. Are you looking to sell? If, I'd love to help you. Or if, anybody looking to move into the neighborhood, I know of some homes coming up for sale. If not, talk to me about, I'd be happy to connect you with lenders for refinancing because now is a great time. So like, that's kind of what I'm thinking, but I'm wondering if I should even include the interest rate on there.
I think the value, the value comes from you bringing up the topic.
Exactly.
Right. So I'll get, like, you could just paint an illustration, right? Do you have a rate above 4? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Check out this illustration. You're in a $500,000 neighborhood. Let's just assume you have let's just say you got a $400,000 mortgage, okay, that you obtained at 4%. Your monthly is this. If you take that same mortgage, or if you take a refinanced mortgage at 2.5 or 2 3/4 or something, your principal and interest payment could be this. Would you prefer this payment or this payment?
Right.
Is this you? Call me.
That's what I did for my farming bill. I put together a little chart with the median price in the area, showing actually I use actually 5% versus 3%. I was a little bit conservative on both, and just showing the difference in the monthly payments for that. I assumed like a 75% mortgage, and I just give them like a quick chart just showing that.
You know what people love? Great. That's a great job. People love stories. Okay. So for example, you could do a 45-second interview with Kathy or with a friend or a client that's just refinanced and say, hey, I rely on Bill to be a resource for me for the real estate community. Okay. Bill just reached out to me, reminded me, or made sure that my family reviewed our refinancing options. We got partnered with this woman right here, Kathy or whoever, who asked, a set of simple questions. Okay. All I had to do was share a couple of simple financial documents, and I'm now saving $300 a month. Okay. And then I say, hey, Corey, what are you doing with the $300 extra per month that you have?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, we just bought a fire pit so we can all hang out more as a family outside. Oh, we just made a donation to charity because now we have some extra cash around. Oh, we just, we're starting to save for an investment property. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
People like stories.
Mm-hmm.
Make sense? So make these things come alive. Now, what else can you do? What are some of the other touches you can make? You could do a case study of a successful sale, right? Maybe identify a hiccup that happened and describe how you and your team overcame the hiccup, right? You could discuss how financing got a little weird and you fixed it, or appraisal got a little weird and you fixed it, or home inspection got a little strange and you found a way to get the seller to pay for something that was surprising, right? So can you share those kind of stories? And a video is where it's at, you guys. Like I said the other day, you got to get comfortable with video, right? Put that thing on Instagram, put that video on a story or whatever. Let's tell the world about this stuff. People want to have positive news right now. Is it fair to say that the world kind of lacks a little positive news?
Yep.
Okay, so let's just do our part. Okay.
Bill, you mentioned sharing those with the database. So is there a way to incorporate a video into Command? Because I'm just not familiar.
So did somebody want to comment on that? It's my understanding the answer to that is yes. So if you there's a guy, his name is Nick Baldwin. Let me type his name in real fast. He has he actually just left the regional tech trainer in Northern Ohio, but he has a YouTube channel that is just mind-blowing. Okay, and he is like the premier dude on Command. Okay, so if you look for him, I think he just posted a video about how to integrate BombBomb or some other video platform into Command.
Right. That's like, it's a video. It embeds the video into the email so you can watch it from the email instead of having to click a link, right?
Exactly. And then you can integrate that into Command, right? So bombbomb.com is a video software. I know you can like do it on your camera and all that. And this is just a perfect example of why realtors are suckers for easy tools. Okay. It's only like $600 a month, or I'm sorry, not $600 a month, $600 a year, $500 a year, something like that. I had it for many years. I don't have it currently, but it's definitely something I'm considering again. Okay.
Yeah.
Hang on one second. All right, hang tight, guys. I'll be there in a second. Okay, let's talk about one or two other things that we can include, and then I'm going to go to the leadership meeting, okay? You could do community news, right? I mean, I'm not trying to get political here, but you think it'd be kind of cool if like you interviewed the new mayor or the new representative in your area, right? Do you think it'd be cool to have a relationship with that type of person? I know that's a little controversial potentially. It's a shame that that's so controversial now, but like maybe you could speak to them about what their plans are for the community, or like a developer that's
yeah.
What's that?
No, I'm sorry. I don't think that's controversial. I mean, just as long as the interview is just about the community as a whole and the greater good kind of thing, as long as you incorporate both, I think that's a great idea.
Just be careful. It's like if you ate
it's a minefield, but
dinner next to like the Democrat or the Republican at the restaurant, they'll take a picture of you, and like next thing you know, it's trending on Twitter. Just be careful.
I know. No, it's true.
Okay. Can you meet and interview local business owners, right? Is that something maybe you can announce that, hey, this company is, doing, I'm just coming up with random stuff right now, that they've got this, new type of coffee, or they opened this new type of, restaurant or salon or something like that. And hey, if you mention me when you come in, you get 20% off, or hey, you can have one nail job, for free if you pay for another one. Or, is there anything, what kind of value can you give to the community? Remember, I've said this before, and I know that sometimes this doesn't quite register, but I want you to think of yourself as like a highly paid concierge. Okay. A really highly paid concierge, by the way. Okay. You are a connector. Your job is to be a resource for the people that count on you. Sometimes that will get a commission check, and sometimes it will not. Either is fine. Make sense? Okay. So those are some touches, plus the neighborhood nurture. Ideally, we want to automate it, as much of this as possible. Okay. The events, just a quick note on the events. The events, you know, obviously be COVID safe and these kind of things. Like,
How are you?
Here's the thing. I mean, you guys could be a little creative. Like, you could have, she'd probably kill me for saying this, but she did tell the world, like Rose in our group, she's an entertainer. She does like clown work and birthday parties and these kind of things, right? Like, you could hire Rose to come on. This is my idea. Rose did not put me up, right? Is that her right there? Rose, I'm trying to give you some props here. Trying to get you a gig, right? Rose could go on your Zoom and entertain the kids of your clients doing magic tricks. Do you not think
she went live and did cold calls live?
She did that too.
That was cool.
Yeah. So, like, what can you do that you need? Hey, Rose, I'm trying to get you a gig, okay?
A gig?
Yeah, you're gonna be the entertainer, the card trick person for some of these people's client events. Is that cool?
Okay, yeah.
We're just gonna have some fun because our clients need a little laughter every once in a while because it's a tough life out there right now.
Yeah, I actually know some professional magicians if y'all want them instead, because I only know so much.
Rose is busy. She's generating business, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. So how can you create a plan that is going to display your mission, your brand, your what kind of speaks to you in this business, right? And communicate that value to the public at large or to your database at large. Okay. So I'm going to encourage you guys. To get super intentional about your communication strategy. Okay. How much of it can we automate, and who gets what, right? You're kind of you're segmenting your database for the people that want to be touched 36 times, or the people who haven't gotten that type of a deep relationship yet. Also, you might want to segment your database. I know we have a lot of people in the group that have not been in Atlanta for very long, right? So if like you were in New York for your whole life and you got a ton of people that you've got great relationships with in New York, tag them all out of area. And the message there could be once a quarter, hey, let me share a referral success story, right? Or, hey, even though I'm in Atlanta, if you have any real estate related questions, call me. I got relationships where you're at, right? Or it could be, hey, check out the Neighborhood Nurture product. It doesn't even have to be for Metro Atlanta. You can pick your neighborhood in New York, right? And that could be a point of value for you. Do you see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So, you know, kind of the takeaway, if you guys haven't, you know, as you guys are starting to learn more and more about this business, we have we have all of these jobs, right? We're the inside salesperson, the outside salesperson, the bookkeeper, the runner, the sign installer, the lockbox installer, the listing manager, the database manager, the buyer's agent, the showing agent, the listing agent, right? We're also the CEO, right? So remember, when you identify a new tool like this and you say to yourself, I don't have the right brain for that, right? That's not in my wheelhouse. I don't know how to even do a calendar, right? Don't say to yourself, well, I guess I'll never do that. Say to yourself, can I use my money instead of my time to tackle this problem, right? Is there anybody that can help set things up for me for a low cost, right? If you go into smart plans now, you can essentially download people's smart plans that have already created all these things. And you can just go in there and change the language or switch out, Denver to Atlanta or whatever it is. I mean, so much of this work has already potentially been done. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay. So here's the ask. Okay. Don't deal with this in 6 months. Okay. This is a project. What do we do with projects? We put project time on the calendar and we have a deadline. Okay. So you might say to yourself, I will sketch out what those 36 touches will be by January 10th. And I will have them in place by February 10th or something like that. And then every day or every other day or whatever it is, be intentional about this. Start to build out the process. Make sense? If you get stuck, ask for help. Okay.
Awesome.
Make sense?
Yep.
I have a question real quick about the refinancing.
Yeah.
When we're doing that, should we like put a plug in for like Keller Mortgage or any other one that we're recommending, or should we just like leave that open ended for them to like come up with their own?
I think you could do that either way. I think I might put a plug in for Keller Mortgage, right? It's like, oh, get $1,000, but you want to. I don't know if they have like a if you make sure that you know what their product is, right? So like, I know they have the 0+ loan for resales or origination loans, but I don't know if that is still a thing they offer from a refinancing standpoint. So reach out to the local rep and say, hey, tell me a little bit about how you've been most successful from a refinancing standpoint. Do you have a marketing piece, or do you have some language that I could use in my mailer, right?
Or a story.
Yeah, exactly. Or a story. Okay. Remember, this business is about relationships, right? You got a relationship with a bunch of lenders or a bunch of handyman or a bunch of roofers, life gets easy. Then you start getting come list me's. Hey, Bill, this is Corey. I just got my neighbor 3 doors down, just got the roof done by Joe. And Joe says, I need to talk to you before I make any real estate decisions. Can you come out? Man, when you get that phone call, you are on top of the world.
Yeah.
Okay. Makes sense? But if you got no relationship with roofers, that ain't never going to happen.
I just got so I did a Facebook Live this past weekend, and a friend of mine contacted me yesterday and said, hey, is that house still available? Because I have a friend who's interested in it. And it was not my listing, but she thought it was my listing because I went through and
did this. Because you just did what you did, and it wasn't a big deal whose listing it was.
Yeah.
It makes no difference.
Right. And I just said, well, no, I said it's under contract. There were actually 5 offers on it, but it wasn't my listing. But, I know all this because I'm in touch. I'm staying on top of that. I'm like, I'd be happy to help them. Of course, they have an agent already, but, but that's okay.
Yeah, that is somebody that needs to be in the database, that needs a Starbucks card or something because they made an attempt to support your business.
Yeah. And I said, well, who else do you know? So who else did, because she's a hairdresser.
Oh my gosh.
That's perfect.
Y'all need to go you shouldn't even have a hairdresser. You should have like a hairdresser for January, a hairdresser for February, a hairdresser for March, right?
Don't tell them that though. They will not like that. They want you to be loyal.
Yeah. I hear you. Maybe one every other month or something. Maybe you have 2 hairdressers.
Just
they think
a little bit off.
Yeah, just give me like 1 month worth of cut. Just give me like 1 month's worth of cut.
Yeah.
Right.
Go in for a shave, not ladies, men.
No, for Corey's, I mean, she's probably being funny, but like we're being dead serious about this, right? Like
one person for cut, one other person for color.
Right. Right. They think you go in to get your hair done, once every other month.
Your hair never grows.
You get it done once every month, right? But I'm telling you, hairdressers know everyone in town.
Yeah. I'm like, everyone. Hey, who do you know? And
they know who's got marriage troubles. They know who's getting divorced. They know whose kids got into college. They know whose kids need to go to a different school. They know everything.
Yep.
All right, you guys. Was this helpful?
Super.
Absolutely. Okay.
So remember, there is a Keller Williams. If you have not figured this out, we are essentially a research company. Okay. We're not just blindly throwing these statistics out. We've been interviewing top producers in this industry for over 20 years. Okay. Now, what they say is when you implement this plan, for every 16 people in your database, you should have 1 sale a year. Okay. So what is 10,000 divided by 16? It's about $800 roughly. Is that right? 10,000.
625.
60. Yeah, 65.
Wait.
625. Okay. Yeah. So what does that tell us? anytime that you add somebody to your database and put them in the system, it's $625. Assuming you sell an average sale price. Many of us are selling homes above $350,000. Okay, so does that change your approach to speaking to people? So if you can turn a conversation into a database entry, you may as well just cash the check, $625 every year. Okay. Now the only thing that's standing in the way of that and your 625 is this. And making sure the content is something they care about. And by the way, look, I've done this. I'm not trying to be unfriendly here, but it's time to roll back the clocks is not all that valuable. Okay, change the batteries in your smoke detector. I'd step it up a bit. Okay. Now sending them some batteries, that's a little bit better. You see what I'm saying? Okay.
All right.
Thank you guys. I'll see you at 1:15. Please be here.
Thanks, Bill.
See you
Thank
soon.
you. Bye.